Good morning, dear students. Today we move to chapter 4, Bipin Chowdhury's Lapse of Memory, which is a funny story of how a person tricked his friend who avoided and didn't help him in time of need. This story is written by Satyajit Ray, who was born in Calcutta to renowned writer Sukumar Ray, who was prominent in the field of arts and literature. Satyajit Ray was an Indian film director, scriptwriter, documentary filmmaker, author, essayist, magazine editor, illustrator, choreographer, and music composer. He is celebrated for works such as the Apu Trilogy, The Music Room, The Big City, and Charulata. Born on 2nd May 1921 at Kolkata. Died in the year of 23rd April 1992 at Kolkata. And the main awards he got: the Bharat Ratna, Academy Honored Award, Dada Sahib Phalke Award, and more. Books: The Complete Adventures of Feluda, Our Films, Their Films, My Years with Apu, and more. Bipin Chowdhury's The Lapse of Memory is a humorous story, contains of 4 parts, each part ending where the listener wonders what comes next. And now let's go to the story. Bipin Chowdhury's Lapse of Memory is an amazing story about an aged man named Bipin Chowdhury. The story was written by Satyajit Ray and was divided into 4 parts, as I mentioned earlier. The main character of the story is Bipin Babu, and he had a habit of visiting bookstores and buying books of his interest. On such a visit, a man approached him and told him that he was his old acquaintance, Parimal Ghosh, from his Ritchie trip. Initially, Bipin was convinced that the man was confusing him with someone else. However, when Parimal Ghosh divulged some personal details about Bipin, then later he got confused. He didn't have memory of any such past incidents that the stranger was referring to, as he had never gone to Ritchie earlier. The stranger said that Dinesh Mukherjee was also there on the same trip with him. Further, he also told Bipin that he could confirm about this trip from Mr. Mukherjee directly. However, Bipin ignored this and continued with his life as usual. Later, the incident kept bothering him and finally checked with Dinesh, who verified the authenticity of the story. This confused him even more since he didn't have any memory of visiting Ranchi in the past. Meanwhile, his school friend Chunilal would often visit him looking out for a job, which Bipin would fairly ignore. In due course of time, Bipin started getting deeply worried, as he felt he must have lost his memory. Hence, he sought a doctor's advice for his ailment. After checking Bipin, the doctor Prasad Chanda, the doctor's name is Prasad Chanda, was puzzled as he had never seen a similar case before. Upon seeing Bipin's mental state, the doctor advised him to visit Ranchi again and to clarify his doubts by himself. He thought that revisiting the same place might bring back Bipin's memories, which he assumed that he had forgotten. Listening to Dr. Chanda's advice, Bipin visited Ranchi with the hope of reviving his memory of the past incident, but to no avail. He returned to Calcutta as the visit to Ranchi left him in a state of utter confusion. He called the doctor again. However, just before Dr. Prasad Chanda arrived for a routine checkup, the servant brought Bipin a letter marked as urgent and confidential, which someone had left in the letter box. He opened the envelope and read the letter carefully. He discovered that his friend Chunilal had pranked him as a sweet revenge for not helping him when he was in dire need of a job. He mentioned that Bipin could have helped him, but he chose to avoid him. After reading the letter, Bipin was dejected and felt guilty for avoiding Chunilal when he asked for help. Finally, when Dr. Chanda arrived, Bipin lied to him, stating that he had revived his memories of his trip to Ranchi. Instead, he asked the physician to give him a painkiller for a pain in his hip, that which he got from Ranchi trip. The chapter Bipin Chowdhury's Lives of Memory teaches a moral lesson to students that we should help people in time of need. As the famous adage goes, as you sow, so shall you reap.